of the oldest settling towns on Sodor, used to be the first ever station for passengers. The town and its people always seemed to be in bright spirits. The engines that passed would always give a toot-toot of their whistles, and the people of Harwin would always give their thanks for its services. Everything was perfect. That was, until a half-German settler moved into the town and became the new station master. His name was Gunther Alf Hans, and he took his role as station master very seriously. They say he never smiled and was always uptight, strict, and sometimes violent. He would force every member of staff of his to work all hours of their shift, not even allowing them tea breaks. He would throw the greatest fits when the engines were but a second late, and worst of all, a porter disobeyed an outlandish order he had, and Hans got into a brawl with him that was so violent they needed 6 men to hold each other back. It was that day that the higher-ups fired Hans's role as station master, and his wife filed for divorce after a few cases of domestic abuse and violence. Mrs. Hans gathered their children to say goodbye to their father for the final time, until he didn't show up for nearly half an hour. The telephone rang, and the wife answered it. Before she could respond, an emotionless Gunther spoke these words exactly through the phone. "You meant nothing to me, Gertrude. Our marriage was merely a subchapter in my greater story that is my life. My station has been taken from me, and without that, I am nothing. Goodbye, Gertrude," he said, as the cock of a hand revolver was heard through the phone. Mrs. Hans ran into the car and drove as fast as the car would let her to the station. But it was all in vain. Hans had taken his life that evening. His lifeless body leaked red blood from his corpse, and his matter was splattered against the wall, though the decline only worsened from there. With all the negative publicity regarding the station's recent management and the station master's suicide, the station and its railway services were forced to shut down. Without any other connection to the other towns, Harwin citizens were forced to move to the neighbouring town of Vicarstown, which provided cheaper housing and greater opportunity for the people.
And just like that, the town was quickly abandoned, and it remained that way for dozens of years. Along with the town's life left for good, the natural life of the forest and wildlife dwindled. The trees began to die, and the animals seemed to leave as well. Some say it was due to a potent fungus that poisoned the wildlife and vegetation, but some, and many actually, will tell you Gunther Alf Hans perhaps still roams the land as a lonely spirit. They say if you go to the station the night of his suicide, he can still be seen roaming his station, waiting until his station may one day open again. Ouch! Oliver had a mishap last night whilst pulling the mail. The Fat Controller made sure he was alright and decided to restore the line that Oliver crashed down as a tourist attraction. But not too long after this happened, a new engine named Murdoch crashed on another old branch line. After he was rescued, the Fat Controller rediscovered the old town of Harwin and decided to reopen the line. The Fat Controller took Duck along the line to inspect the tracks and make sure that the restoration was possible.
Ooh, I don't like it round here. This place gives me the willies, even during the day.
The only thing I'm afraid of is one of those trees falling in front of us.
Duck stopped right next to the station, where the Fat Controller got down with the inspector to check the station. But as they were checking, Duck spotted movement from the corner of his eye. He couldn't tell what it was at first, until he gave a closer glance and saw it was a man in a coat. Duck whistled at him, only for the man to turn around into the bushes.
Sir, I saw someone over there by the bushes.
That's highly unlikely. This area's been abandoned for decades.
But I did see someone, honest.
We'll check the area more and more as we work on it. But based off what we see, the line is suitable for reopening.
The Fat Controller went to the sheds to tell the engines about the news.
Along with the reconstruction of Toby's old station, I will be reconstructing the Harwin branch line. Its rails and stations will be reopened as tourist spots for visitors.
The other engines were all fascinated with the idea of one of Sodor's oldest towns being restored. They all spoke amongst each other, all except for Edward, who seemed to be more nervous than anything. Did you say Harwin Station? The one run by Gunther Alf Hans?
Yes, Edward, the very same one. Is there something you wish to say?
No, sir. I was just wondering.
Very well. I will be having you all rotate one at a time to deliver trains for supplies for the reconstruction.
The next day, Edward stopped at the yard where Thomas and Percy were collecting coal and water.
Edward, is there something you need to get off your foot plate?
No, Thomas. What makes you think that?
We saw your expression when the Fat Controller announced the branchline's restoration, and we were wondering what was up.
Well, don't tell the others I told you, but that line is haunted.
Haunted?
Yes, in fact, I used to go down that line a couple times in my youth, Edward said, as he recounted all of his past experiences when he went down the branch line and met the other engines who worked on it. He also recounted the story of the ill-tempered station master and the story of his ghost. Thomas and Percy were shocked when they heard of the story.
That's a very dark story, but do you really believe in spooks, Edward?
Well, I can't confirm for sure, but I can recall something. I passed down that line after it closed when I was younger. When I did, the place was fogged so deeply I could barely see a meter in front of my buffers. But I heard a hoot of a nearby owl. And most bizarre of all, I saw a light turn in the abandoned station window. But above all that, I heard the whistle of an engine, and smoke trail of an engine as well. That's when I knew I stumbled somewhere I shouldn't have. Thomas and Percy were both shocked until Thomas spoke again.
Oh my, now I'm not sure if I want to go on that branch line if the Fat Controller asks me to.
Oh, it's nothing to be scared of, Thomas. After all, it's not your first time dealing with ghosts. Let me in! Let me in!
Neither should you. Not sure how much more scared you could get than from the dragon.
Edward chuckled as the two teased each other. Meanwhile, the Fat Controller confronted Henry.
Hello, Henry. I have a special job for you tomorrow night. I would like you to pull the first supply train to the Harwin branch line.
But who will pull the kipper, sir? It's due tomorrow.
Arthur would pull it. I'm sure he would like a break from his branch line.
Henry was happy. He liked Arthur, and was happy he got to help with the branch line's reconstruction. You know, Henry, whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in. They say that when the mist is about, the ghost of the old station master roams on the old line. Huh, what nonsense. Are you trying to scare me? 'cause you're doing a very poor job at it. Stupid bird. Owls, mists, ghosts. Edward's going soft in his boiler.
Calm down, old boy. I'm sure he's just recounting an old story of sorts. Besides, there's no mist. And I was proven wrong.
Too right. I can't see an inch in front of my buffers.
Oi, what's that?
It's an amber lamp. The fogman used to put them when we needed to perceive caution. You reckon there's one around?
There's only one way to find out. Who's there?
Wow, what an echo.
I think it's best if we have a look around and see if someone's trying to warn us.
And leave me on my own?
Yeah? Is there a problem?
No, it's just boring sitting here.
Well, no worries. We shouldn't be too long.
It just got really quiet, didn't it? I wonder why that... Hey, who's that? Hey! Hey! You lost, Gov? Hello? Hello?
Henry! Whoa, calm down, Henry. What's startling you?
Nothing. Let's just carry on.
Alright, but for the record, we couldn't find anyone.
What's that?
It's a sign. It says, "Beware the viaduct."
No one warned us about a viaduct before.
Hoi! A signal just dropped.
And the gates, they're closed.
Hoi! There's a trench coat hanging on that tree. Does it have an owner?
Who the devil was that?
I haven't a clue. Is there another train scheduled tonight?
But something caught Henry's eye that made his boiler run cold. There, in the station, was a light that was turned on. The light is on, in the station. And once the driver noticed, the light turned off. Ghost! Edward was right!
Something real strange is going on here.
I think it's best if we go back. Yes, so do I! The Fat Controller answered the phone to hear Henry's driver, who relayed the story to them.
I see. I'll send workmen first thing in the morning. In the meantime, leave the train where you took it from, and take Henry to the sheds immediately.
Back from the branch already? Did the ghost pay you a visit, Henry?
Maybe the ghost of the old fart stared at him too hard.
Are you alright, Henry?
He must have given him a real fight.
Hey, that's enough for you two. Henry, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Maybe I did, Henry said, as he relayed the events to the other engines. They were all silent for the most part, until Gordon spoke.
What you saw must have been simply things left by the workmen, and that whistle must have been from a passing engine nearby. Isn't Elizabeth in that area?
Regardless, it's a lot of odd things to be left and set up on an abandoned branch line.
Yes, but it's getting late, and I'm sure that this continuous talking about Henry's encounter isn't doing any of us very well. The others all agreed reluctantly, as they fell to sleep. Emily was last and decided to comfort Henry. It's alright, Henry. I'm sure what you saw can be explained. You just need some sleep. I don't know if I can. Oh, was the... What the... Where is everyone? What the... what's going on? What is this? What the...
Henry the Greed and Gem.
Who are you? No. Stay back, you mother...
Henry!
What, where am I?
You're in your shed, Henry. You just woke up.
You weren't Stephen right, but now you definitely are. Now, come on, we've got work to do.
Come on, Henry. You can go faster, can't you?
Sorry. I'm trying. I'm just trying. Get out of my way, you serpent-colored simpleton! Henry was shocked and put his brakes on hard, just as the signalman changed the points. Special code, Lord Hopper! Sorry. Henry stopped at Wellsworth to let off more goods, when Murdoch was passing by on his way back from the big station.
My goodness, Henry, you look poorly.
Just a little sleepy. It's been a long night.
I see. You look like you can barely puff. Why don't I take your train the rest of the way?
But don't you have more work to do?
It's alright. I'm sure I can take your train and get back on time.
So it was arranged. Henry left the train with Murdoch and looked for a shed to sleep. Henry was left alone in the sheds whilst his drivers went off for their tea break. Huh? Oh no, what's going on now? What the bloody hell do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Ah!
Who am I? I'm the ancient sacred ground you treaded on last night. You think you run on the rails now after me. You think that you can disrupt my resting place, my place of peace, just like the man in the suit. I trailed those rails before him, you know.
What?
Just know this, Henry. If you stay off my branch line, I won't bother you. But if you don't, I'll never let you go!
Ah! Ah! No, get away from me! Hey, calm down, you crazy git. What are you both doing here?
We were coming down the lawn and we saw you sleeping. You were gonna get your fright but wake you up.
But it looks like you gave us a fright instead.
Hey, what's going on here? Henry's had a hard day and he doesn't need you two giving him grief. Be off with you.
Of course the lemons stick together. Come on, Bert. Let's get back to the scrapper.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt the steamy lover.
Thank you, Boko.
Of course, Henry. I'm just doing what I know you do for me.
But as Boko was talking to Henry, Henry noticed Edward from afar talking to an old man in a brown trench coat. Who's that man Edward's talking to?
Oh, you don't know? That's old Bailey, the fogman.
But we already have a fogman. Cyril, isn't it?
Yes, but old Bailey there is the oldest fogman on the island. In fact, he was the one that trained Cyril. He's a stern but friendly sort. The others say he might be a wizard, because he always knows danger whenever it is.
Henry couldn't stop thinking about old Bailey until the driver and fireman returned from their tea break with some mixed news.
Henry, good news. The viaduct's been repaired. Apparently it had some loose rivets and just needed a quick touch-up. We could take our train along the old line tonight.
Oh, goody. But Henry really didn't want to. But as night fell, Henry actually wasn't too unnerved. His boiler hummed and his firebox sizzled nicely. Henry decided to push the train this time, in case of something trying to get him. You know what? Maybe I'm just imagining things. There may not be a ghost train after... Ah! Look out for the ghost train, Henry!
Oh, look! Henry spooked! Steady engine, steady engine!
Be quiet, I'm not scared! But he was. The trucks giggled and teased him as he puffed down the branch line. Henry simply ignored them, at first.
Jeez, I wish we could go faster by this point. Yeah, you tell me.
But they soon stopped once they headed towards the branch line. As they approached the same wooded area, they saw the same amber light again. Oh, bugger, here we go.
I say, why are we back here again? I don't know why. Do you know why? No, I don't know why.
As they kept going, the gates mysteriously closed by themselves, and the signal dropped to danger. The trucks had seen everything, and they were spooked too. Faster, faster, there's a ghost about! Stop, stop, stop! Yelled Henry. Henry was terrified, and even more so when he heard the whistle of the engine he heard previously, along with the puffing sound. Ah, go, 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 just go! Henry begged, but what Henry didn't know was the viaduct up ahead was blocked off by a landslide that fell down from the cliff. Henry braked as hard as he could, but the trucks rammed into the rubble one by one and plunged into the ravine below. Henry just managed to stay on the rails, but he was shook beyond belief.
Oh my god! That was far too close.
Hang on. Any chance that stuff on the trees was there to warn us?
Suddenly, the same whistle sounded out, and Henry got yet again scared. Ah! Oh, it's the ghost engine! He's here to kill us all! Ghost? I might be old, but I'm not dead yet, shouted a voice as an old blue engine puffed right behind Henry, making an awful lot of noise.
Hey, who are you?
I'm Croven, the engine who used to run on this branch line.
What's wrong with all of you? I tried warning you all about the viaduct, but y'all ignored my warnings. Why didn't you pay attention?
Now who's that? That's old Bailey, the fogman. We've heard about you.
We're dreadfully sorry. We were informed that the line was safe to travel on by the inspectors.
Yeah, well, I knew that the work on the viaduct would disturb the surrounding soil, which eventually it did.
Old Bailey could always catch little things like that back in the day.
We're ever so sorry. Is there anything we could do to thank you?
Well, you're trying to reopen the branch line, right? I'd like to operate that old station back there. I'd like to give the station a clean slate after that piece of shit Gunter assaulted me back in the day.
And if you could let me operate as a passenger engine, I promise I won't spook Henry again. Oh, please don't. I'm sure that can be arranged. And it soon was.
Well, given the branch line's mysterious history, and its rather infamous history, I think it would be best to restore this branch line as a heritage line. We'll offer a tour of the abandoned town and the branch line for the people who want to see it.
I like that idea. And maybe if I can't operate that station fully, could I be Croven's official driver? I took him for a couple drives around the old rails and I kept him in good nick.
Oh, so that explains what Edward saw that night. Very well, I'll promote you from fogman to engine driver.
And so it was arranged. The branch line's restoration was headed by Harvey and Fergus, and some of the others occasionally helping. Croven was also overhauled and restored as a heritage engine on the branch line. He brought hikers, sightseers, and historians to the old town, where they could observe and roam the branch line and the old town with tour guides. Henry paid the branch line a visit, where he saw Croven and old Bailey after taking a train of passengers.
Henry, old chap, great seeing you here again.
Yeah, it's much more beautiful here during the day, especially since it seems the trees seem to be growing back to normal. It's like nature's back to working order.
And we just wanted to thank you for all you've done in trying to save us.
Ah, don't sweat it. Me and that old amber lamp and the sign came in handy now, didn't it?
Yes, as well as the court, the signal, and the gates.
But old Bailey and Croven both stared blankly.
Ooh, well, that wasn't me. I only put the sign and the lamp out.
What? That can't be. What about the person in the station? Was that someone else? It must have been. Bailey's never walked into that station since it was abandoned. Does that mean...
Yep, Gunter's coat haunts these very parts, Henry. If that coat was a trench coat, then it surely must have been him.
Yeah, it was. If that's the case, can I assume Harwin paid you a visit? Harwin? Yeah, an old tender engine. Him and I used to work on this branch line when we were both younger. Harwin used to get into tiffs with Gunter all the time. So much so that they would curse and scream at each other. Until one night... Harwin crashed over that viaduct. The police and inspectors found that the section of railroad ties had been tampered with, causing him to fall and derail off the bridge, killing everyone on his train. The police never could find who was responsible since the resources weren't as advanced as they are today.
Yeah, but I know that Gunter was responsible for his death. I found several tools that workmen used to make the rails. When I confronted him about it, he tried to beat my ass, but I fought back. Pity I couldn't get him in trouble in time, because he shot himself the next day. Bloody coward.
What? So that engine I met in my dreams was the ghost of Harwin? Yes, he's paid me a visit, and Bailey more than a few times. At least he can't do much but give us frights. Henry didn't know what to say, but he never paid the Branchline a visit again. He only spoke to old Bailey and Coven when they were off the Branchline. Harwin never paid Henry another visit again, and the Branchline is still open today, though many who snuck onto the line late at night will tell you plenty of terrifying things. If they come back at all, that is.